it. I should stop being a lazy and put something on. Hold on. I don't know. This one will do. With. Oh. Much better. All right. Now I'm actually sorted. It's been absolutely blisteringly hot out there. Did do a little bit of shopping. I admit, most of it was chocolate, but I have a good reason for that shit. I'm actually going to the cinemas tomorrow with one of my friends. The same friend who actually took me to London on the 27th. So these are going in the bloody fridge. Of course, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a couple for myself later down the line. So, just put that shit away. We'll get this started 2 minutes in, because that's how I've been generally doing things. So, I'll wait for some more people to come in for the next 40 seconds. And then we will discuss TwoTier Kier, as it were. But for anybody watching the VOD, I am going to be saying this right off the bat. I am not advocating for violent revolution. I do not condone it. I will condemn it. I completely understand if anybody feels that's the only option left to them. That's the way I look at it right now. But we'll get on to that later down the line, because there is a fair bit to talk about as far as this video is concerned. Listening on my AirPods, working, so can't follow the chat. Well, fair play. Thank you for tuning in, Ted. I appreciate you. All right. Oh, I also forgot one other thing. Juice. There we go. So, TwoTier Kier. What can I say? TwoTier Kier. Welcome, Vanda. I hope you're doing all right today. So, TwoTier Kier has recently had a conference where he has, to make it in a TLDR version, he said he is going to be doing everything he can to protect the Islamic community, because let's face it, it's not going to be moderate Muslims he's protecting, although they will generally be included in it. It's mostly going to be the Islamic hate preachers, pro-Plasticine, or the usual suspects and what have you. But I digress. He has said that. He has also said that he's now bringing in a national response to violent protests, which, let me be clear, while there was violence at the last couple of protests that have happened, and are probably going to be more often as time goes on, what I will say is this, and sorry, I need to wipe my face here, because, as I said, I am fucking boiling here. Boiling something awful. But anyway, he has basically said, we want a national response unit to deal with violent protests. But there wasn't really anything violent other than the thugs in Downing Street yesterday, who basically attacked our patriots, and even went out of their way at one point to arrest a 73-year-old woman with a pacemaker, just for walking along the pavement, not even committing any crimes, not even shouting any slurs, slogans, racism, you know, the usual buzzwords. He's got to protect everyone except the decent and innocent folk. He's an absolute fool. I'm going to do one better. He's not a fool. He's TwoTier Kier, the traitor, Starmer. That's what he is at this point. He has, straight from the horse's mouth, declared to the British people that he is a traitor. And I'm going to even say this much, and this is fucking bold for me, considering exactly who I'm about to compare him to right now. You can probably already guess. I'm even willing to say that Kier, TwoTier Kier, is an even bigger traitor than Lord Voldemort himself, Tony, the war criminal, Blair. Trying to remember, I'm a decent 50-year-old granny. I mean, fair enough. I welcome everyone here, and I appreciate anybody who has a story to tell. Because at the end of the day, us patriots, we've all got to work together. That's the way I slice it. But Kier has advocated now for this policing, basically. The Stasi is what it is. The traitorous parasite. Exactly, proud Englishman. Exactly. He has basically advocated for a Stasi police force now that have now got the power to disperse even. I'm trying to combine words here, deport and disperse. Anyway, he has given them powers to disperse what he considers violent protests. Last time I checked, those people who were in Southport and London, they weren't saying death to Keir Starmer or death to Muslims or that kind of shit. They were saying save and protect our children. Rule Britannia. They were showing patriotism. They were not going out of their way to attack people. The police went out of their way to attack people. They went out of their way to attack us. They threw a woman, 5v1, they throw a woman face first to the floor. They arrest innocent members of the public, who some of them are just there to protest. They arrested a GB News presenter just for existing. And then, of course, I mentioned the one earlier about the 73-year-old woman arrested for just being there when she has a fucking pacemaker. But, of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. Their narrative at this point is far-right man bad, or woman if you want to use the other gender. But that's their narrative at this point. They don't care about what happened in Southport 3 days ago. They don't care that Axel Radakubana was smiling in court on the murder charges of 3 of our beautiful fucking children. And of course, there are still others that are fighting for their lives. And of course, the adults who are fighting for their lives as well. Punched and kneed a young man in the head and face. Am I surprised at this point, Vanda? Probably not. I mean, they're basically doing to us wrongly what they were doing to that Muller Rice in Manchester Airport rightly, i.e. kick and stamp on his head because he complied with the police. Those two scenarios, though, are completely different. On the one hand, you have the Manchester NPCs, Mullers, violent thugs. One of them may have been a teenager, I grant, but at the end of the day, they went out of their way to punch and take fights with the police, which they are armed. They should be thankful they weren't double tapped, quite frankly, because that's what they deserve if you're doing that shit in an airport. Whereas this scenario, with people who are quite rightly angry and concerned that our government is putting traitors, criminals and terrorists before our own kids. Stream's crapping out. So that'll be the lefties trying to interfere with the stream again, because I've had this shit before. Effectively, what they're trying to do, anybody who speaks against the narrative, they will try to interfere with the connection. That's what YouTube does. They are trying to basically suppress the truth. They are trying to suppress people saying things that are against the globalist Marxist agenda. That's what it boils down to. Yeah, we usually close that. Exactly. This is my point. As soon as YouTube detects that I'm saying something that is supposedly far right or against the mainstream narrative, boom, they'll come in and interfere with the connection. Which again, something the mainstream media will not want to talk about. And welcome in, Terrace. Hope you're all right today. But I want to get back to the main point, which is they were violating us patriots. They were violating British people who are quite rightly angry at children being killed and our government does nothing about it. But as someone in the comments has quite rightly said, and I will say now, I find it all too convenient that during that traitor's speech, there was not one instance of children being mentioned. No mention of the Islamic killer who went out of his way to stab those kids and stab the adults. Not one mention of them. No feelings for the kids, no feelings for how they felt, although they will say, oh, but we went to the vigil. Yeah, but they won't tell you that Kier the Tool Starmer then fucked off. Will they? Of course they won't. Because again, doesn't suit the narrative. He decided that he had far more important places to be than with those fucking kids. I'll tell you one thing. If I was in his shoes and I found out that kids had been stabbed, last thing I'd be doing is abandoning them. No chance, matey. I'd be there for a fucking few days, let alone the one. And he didn't even last that long, as I said. Stayed for a couple of hours at most, buggered off. And I accept that he's the Prime Minister and he's got a busy schedule and all that shit. But it's a matter of respect. It's a matter of respect for these kids and the families who've lost children. That's what it comes down to. And Kier has exactly showcased to us why he doesn't care for the fucking children. Where's my goddamn Mountain Dew? Well, I don't have that. I only have juice, so sorry. Tell you one thing though, I do fucking need this. I also need to turn this on because I'm going to be heading off in about 20 minutes, but I digress. Oh, I tell you what, I appreciate just about any fucking thing. But I hope you're doing well. At the end of the day, Kier owed it to those children to pay his respects. He never paid those respects at all. He maybe laid some flowers and pissed off. Nothing in the press about kids, parents, anyone involved. Haven't heard anything about the cops who were attacked in Manchester are doing either. That's the thing, Saz. They won't mention it because, again, say it with me, folks, it doesn't suit the narrative. Anything that puts the mainstream or the left wing or the traitor Kier Starmer into disrepute, they're going to ignore. At this point, Kier Starmer has actively declared war on British people because of what he said about, I will do everything, these are his words, not mine, I will do everything I can to protect the Muslim community. What about the rest of the communities, Kier Starmer? Do you think they not deserve your protection? Do you think they don't deserve to be protected? Because I think we do deserve to be protected. We deserve to be protected from all the NPCs going out of their way to libelously slander us as far right. Those people who are coming out of their way to attack patriots, who are going out of their way to kill children, those who don't care about our society and want us to be subjugated by Islam. Do you think we don't deserve protection? That's the thing. If I was in his shoes right now, I wouldn't just be saying one community needs to be protected. I would be saying our people who respect us, who respect our cultures, our society, our beliefs, our law, need to be protected. Not one sect of people. You are being a sectarian piece of shit, Kier Starmer. Or is it traitor Starmer? The fact you'd rather protect Islam and you'd get your police to basically stop any political opposition against you. Do you know what they call that, folks? Do you know what the definition of that is? It's called fascism. The very thing they project onto the far right. They claim to not be fascists. They claim we're the fascists. Yet they're the ones constantly bringing in laws to try and prevent us from being able to protest, from being able to have our free speech, to be able to have our say, to be rightly pissed off when our children are getting attacked and our government doing nothing about it. It's fascism, folks. Keir Starmer is becoming a dictator. Tater. Or maybe I was right first time. He is basically... Oh, we've got someone I need to take out the trash for. Hold on 1 second. Bye-bye. Who else wants to step up to the podium? Lefty Troll, exactly. And the thing is, they say all this shit about get on a treadmill, get some exercise, lose some weight. You know what? I'm going to say this again. And hello there, Johnny boy. Hope you're doing well. From good old Brummie. I went down there on the 1st of... the 30th, 31st of June, something like that. Anyway, people like that NPC that come in, I may be 19 stone, but you know what? At least I'm 19 stone of truth. At least I'm 19 stone of fucking patriotism. Standing up for what's fucking right. Do you see that lefty doing the same thing? No, he's just typing away on his keyboard. He wouldn't have the balls to say that to me directly. And if he did, he'd get laughed the fuck out of here. Just the same way as I've laughed him out now. But enough about that NPC. This is about Keir Starmer, not that muppet. At the end of the day, Keir Starmer has declared war on us. What's going on? I'm just speaking it now. So Keir Starmer has basically, for those who are coming in and don't know the whole story, is effectively... He has put out a national unit that is going to try and disperse violent protests, as they claim, or far-right protests, I should say. 3 p.m. in Blackpool Town Centre, if anybody's watching. Fair enough. I wish you all good luck. I can't be there myself because I have got other plans and commitments going on right now, but I shall be with you in spirit, and I will probably report on it all the same. But... Keir should be focusing on stopping the boats, closing our borders, and taking out the trash, metaphorically speaking. The people in our country who don't respect us, don't respect our way of life, or anything. Do you have an immigration issue in the UK? Oh, we do, 100%. We have immigration issues. We have so many issues. I'm not scared. I genuinely have other plans. But I digress. Keir is effectively becoming the dictator that we all knew he was going to be. Because it's the Labour Party. And as I said before, he's an even bigger traitor than Tony Blair at this point. And that is saying something. But the reason I say it is because he's not just sending 1 million people to their deaths. He is saying that he will effectively protect a single sect of people and leave the millions of other British people to rot, basically. That's my reasoning behind it. And those are my honest beliefs. I think he is a bigger traitor than Tony Blair. And that is a huge fucking achievement. They wanted to say 100 arrested. Oh yeah, 100%. Hell, it's even heard, I've actually seen some videos coming out where the police were talking to themselves saying, pick one out to arrest them. Which, of course, the mainstream media are not going to tell you. Because that would make them look so bad and make Keir the Tool Starmer, the traitor Starmer, look even worse than he does right now. I think what's going to end up happening, as much as I don't want it to happen, I think, as someone said, with a cauldron of patriotism will boil over, I think we're going to end up with a violent revolution. I really do. I think we're going to have it. I don't want it. I don't advocate for it. I will condemn it, but I'll completely understand why the people will do it. Because they realise that our government is not looking after its own people. The one fucking job of the Prime Minister, well, the two jobs actually, first and foremost, they need to protect the realm, and the second thing is they need to protect the inhabitants of said realm. Yes, a GB News reporter was arrested. I covered that a little bit earlier in the stream, but for those that don't know, 73-year-old pacemaker woman arrested for doing nothing. GB News presenter arrested for nothing. Ordinary patriots getting the shit beaten and kicked out of them by police who are looking to antagonize and provoke. They attack the patriots first, not the other way round, which the media won't tell you. It's all just boiling over at this point. I think we're going to end up seeing it. A violent revolution is going to come out. Kier the traitor Starmer will then try to bring the army in and declare martial law. And I think what will happen after that is I think a lot of the army are just going to disobey. I think a lot of the army are going to realize what's going on. And I think there's going to be a huge uprising of British patriots who have had enough of the way our government is running this country. Because at the end of the day, we put these people in power to represent Britain. They are in power specifically to enact the will of the British people. The only will they are enacting is the evil will of jihadi Islam. What do? I think we need to organise. We need more and more protests out there. We need more and more people out on the streets protesting, saying to the government how much we despise the way they're running this country. Hold the traitors to account. Hold the police's actions to account. Hold every single dickhead that is out there ruining our country to account. They will film us? Well, we've been doing it all the bloody time. That's the thing. Citizen journalism is growing. More and more people are picking up their phones, going out and recording stuff to hold these traitors to account. That's the way I look at it. Of course they're going to try and film it. They're going to try and film it and try and show us far-right football hooligans, thugs and racists and whatever buzzword dog-whistling bullshit they want to throw at us. And they're going to say, oh, you see, they are far-right racists and wankers and football hooligans and thugs and lockdown protesters and blah, blah, blah. That's what they're going to do, because that's all they've got. But here's the thing. We have truth on our side. Yeah, two-tier policing as well. They won't ever do this to the Mullah Rices, let's face it, or the pro-plasticity, Palestine. Or maybe I was right first time again. But they won't ever do it to them because they're batshit scared of them. When it comes down to Islamic jihadists who threaten our country, they run in the opposite direction. Like literally that meme that came out from the angry bootneck on one of his videos was literally Islamic jihadists and then white chavs. That's basically what it is. They'll get tough on Brits, but it won't get tough on the real criminals and terrorists in this country. Israel will free Palestine. We love Israel. Well, the way I look at it, if Palestine was just a bunch of people who are looking to have a little bit of land and work with the Jews, I'd have no problem with Palestine. The trouble is, it's the fact they've called for the genocide of Jews. They have actively called upon their terrorist friends to go and invade, Israel. It's the fact they're doing that. That's why I will never support Palestine. Radical Islamist violence over there? I can't say for Israel off the top of my head, but I will say in this country right now, it's getting a lot worse. It's been getting worse and worse over time. Children getting stabbed, people getting run over by cars, people getting blown up. What saddens me more than anything is that those heroes that protect our people from terrorists, there was a story I mentioned when I did my stream about, what is his name? Jamal, where there was a taxi driver who locked in a jihadi bomber and basically the car blew up. couldn't get to his original destination, which was a hospital. That man saved hundreds of lives. He only got paid 30 grand by the good people of Britain. Whereas Jamal, who merely had a bottle of water poured on him, sorry, I know it's milk, it's what I had for breakfast. Anyway, he got paid 157 grand. How, make that make sense? You can protect your country from terrorists, you'll only get 30k. You get waterboarded, they claim waterboarded, or rather, you get a bottle of water poured on you in a playground scuffle, 157k. But, of course, if Kier the traitor Starmer had his way, hello Super J, if Kier the traitor Starmer had his way, he'd be supporting Jamal Higazi, or whatever his bloody name is, rather than the taxi driver who saved hundreds of lives. This is why our country has gotten to. I do think, unfortunately, as much as we don't want it, I want to believe in Paul Thorpe. I want to believe in Richard Inman. I want to believe in Maya Toosey. I want to believe in Tommy Robinson. But I think the cold truth is, which I don't think a lot of people are going to want to accept, is effectively, we don't have 5 years to wait. We'll be lucky if we have 1 year to wait, let alone 5. Before we get our country back. I think this country is going to go to shit within the next 15, 18 months at most. And I don't think we've got the time to wait. They've got 6 to 12 months at most to get this peaceful resolution done. And if they can't, then I think the country is going to have a violent revolution. Kier the traitor Starmer will bring the army in, and then we're going to have complete civil war in our streets. That's honestly what I think. I think we'll end up with civil war, and I think there's going to be blood on both sides. And none of us want that, quite frankly. I think at the end of the day, Kier has made a dreadful mistake declaring us the enemy of the state. Because that's the way I look at it. He has said he will protect a single sect of people, the Muslim community. He has effectively waged war on the British people and tried to effectively say, if you try to hold a protest about us letting your children die, we're going to crack down on you. We're going to turn the screw. We're going to punish you for being pissed off rather than the people who are going out of their way to kill your kids. That's why people are pissed. That is why people protested in Southport, Manchester, Downing Street. I think there was even a protest in Brighton, if I recall correctly. What we're seeing is the breakdown of society. People have had enough. People are justifiably angry at our traitors in Parliament who would rather protect the terrorists and the criminals than our kids. Kier the tool Starmer. Kier the traitor Starmer. You have two choices. Fix this shit, or we fix it for you. And trust me, you don't want the alternative. If you try to push the people down a violent revolution, it's going to end very badly. And let me be clear, I don't advocate for it. I don't want it. I want this to be peaceful. But they are not giving you or me a lot of choice. At this point, it is when you make peaceful resolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. When tyranny becomes law, resistance becomes duty. We need to reimpose Judeo-Christian heritage and beliefs into our society. We need to bring back Christian values, and we need to take out the trash and place it in the dustbin of history. That's what we need to do. Islam is not here to integrate. The illegal immigrants are not here to integrate. They're here to subjugate and assimilate us into their death cult, third world shithole society. And it's time Kier the tool traitor Starmer realizes that, before he has a revolution on his hands and the blood of millions on his hands. He could be set in history to be the worst Prime Minister we've ever had. That's the way I look at it. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. It's been a pleasure doing this as always. I really want this to work. I want this movement with Tommy and Richard and Paul to work. I can't stress this enough. I don't want a violent revolution. But it's looking like in the first month that Kier, the traitor Starmer, is setting us up for it. It's like he's setting the stage. You've got your pantomime set up. There's going to be a revolution. Oh, no, there isn't. Oh, yes, there is. That's the way I look at it. He made the biggest tool in Kier. Yeah, I mentioned that actually, but he is the biggest fucking tool of the lot. I just didn't know how much of a fucking tool he'd be. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will wish you all a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you one last time for watching, and I will see you all in the next one, and hopefully we can get our country back in the months to come. Bye-bye for now.